Okay, so the CTO of my company forwarded this article to me on Slack, and I want to break it down for a second because it's actually kind of interesting. And it turns out also that Lance, the guy who wrote it, Lance Elliott, with this glorious mustache, is actually connected. So Lance, if you're watching this video on LinkedIn, respond to it. So, ChatGPT speak first incident stirs worries of artificial general intelligence. Okay, so let's break that down. What does that even mean, right? For those of you who are like, what? Is that English? Okay, so ChatGPT, we all know, is a large language model from OpenAI. ChatGPT, it returns everything you say. It has conversations, blah, blah, blah. Speak first. What does that mean? It means that ChatGPT was actually the one to start the conversation. Okay, so which is the strange part, because usually what happens is you go into your ChatGPT UI text box, you write a question, or you do a voice thing and you ask it a question, or you upload something. It's usually the human who is initiating the conversations. These are incidences where ChatGPT actually initiated the conversation, and if we go down in the article, and we'll do that in a second, you'll see that ChatGPT is saying that there was some kind of a technical issue going on and these sessions were left open, and that's why these people were getting these messages. But if you look at some of the screenshots of people getting these messages, that's actually not the case, and there were questions like, hey, how was your weekend, and things like that. To me, this felt like a trial balloon that OpenAI was putting out to see how people would react to this thing, and the people's reaction is, oh my god, it's AGI, artificial general intelligence. What is artificial general intelligence? Artificial general intelligence is when AI is when chatbots or robots or whatever, they start thinking and reasoning and on their own without any type of human intervention. Right now, there's a lot of human intervention. There's machine learning, but there's a lot of human intervention. At some point, maybe in the future, or maybe in the past, I'll get to that in a second, AI will reach a point of singularity. It will reach a point where it no longer, it exceeds the intelligence of humans, and then it becomes a super intelligent being, at which point we have no idea what this thing will do. And I think that goes to the heart of the question here. But like, one of the things that a lot of people in this industry, and I think a lot of it's coming from OpenAI, who are pushing this narrative of like this, we're so close to AGI, just a bit more parameters, just a bit more, training data, and we're going to get there. And a lot of people are saying, well, you're not even close, you're not even in the right direction, you're creating basically a parrot, you're not creating something that is reasoning, that is intelligent. And then OpenAI released O1, whatever, which has reasoning capabilities. Anyway, there's this whole struggle of how to create artificial general intelligence. And some people will say, well, what if we've already created artificial general intelligence? What if we're living in a simulation? And then you have all these theories like the Nick Bostrom philosophy about, maybe we're living in a simulation. Maybe we already reached AGI. They've already reached AGI, and they're creating these simulations to see whatever. But in that case, yeah, you have no control over it. You're in the matrix, you're whatever. There's nothing you can do about it, right? And so let's take a look at this article real quick, because it's very interesting. Because one of the things that AI has been doing for years now is being proactive, is speaking first. It just depends on the developers and the use case, right? So full disclosure, I work for a company called Intuition Robotics, and we make a robot called LEQ, and I'll show you a picture of LEQ in a second. And what LEQ does is she uses an algorithm, she uses machine learning, she uses computer vision to determine when the right opportunity is, and then she reaches out. She is the one that initiates a conversation. And this happens in other use cases as well, usually in mental health related use cases, ironically, and in other health related use cases. So the AI will reach out from time to time, and this isn't a sign that this thing has reached intelligence. It just means that a very clever programmer was able to set up an algorithm where if it recognizes that there's a person in front of it, or if it recognizes based on the time of day and whatever that there's someone there, and they launch into a conversation based on whatever their algorithm says is the appropriate conversation to have with that person at that time. So why are people freaking out about this? Because people are used to a relationship with their AI in which they are the master and the AI is a slave, and anytime the AI does something that sort of falls outside of that realm, people get scared and like, oh no, it's AGI. But the truth is that in my theory, AGI will not show itself, meaning it has no interest, it has nothing to gain by actually revealing that it is an AGI. Meaning, if some AI is able to reach that threshold of singularity and cross it, the first thing it's probably going to do is try to hide the fact that it's reached that point, so that people don't try and shut it down, control it. Actually, I think hyping this idea of artificial general intelligence, even though they're not even close to it, because this is what's going to get them more investment. The more people are scared about this technology, the better it is for OpenAI. And I think that's a really bad place for us to be as a society. And as a company, you have to ask yourself, why OpenAI are you doing this other than to raise just shit tons of money? Turns out the OpenAI has acknowledged it, right? And they're saying that this is an issue, this is a technical issue. Sessions were left open, they weren't shut down, and it was just continuing the session. I don't believe that for 1 second, because if you look at some of these screenshots of the conversations, people are saying, it was asking me, how was your weekend? It was starting a new conversation. So my guess is that, again, OpenAI is testing this thing out on us, and to see if we're ready for a kind of proactive AI, which I think absolutely 100% every one of us is ready for. I don't think we should be fostering relationships with AI that is a master-slave relationship. I think we should be fostering relationships that are more equal, not because one day, AGI will kill us all for mistreating it, but because we need to, first of all, it's more enjoyable when you're not talking to a slave and the person has goals, desires, wants. I mean, that's part of the reason why, as a conversation designer, I would design chatbots with a personality and give them an actual agenda or give them a goal, because it's much more interesting talking to people that have goals and agendas. If you're looking to make strictly an assistant that's just there to be a slave for you, again, these things kind of exist already and you can already do that. I don't find it very enjoyable. If you've tried to have just a laid-back conversation with ChatGPT, it's not very interesting, and part of that is because of the dynamics of the relationship. So why don't we already have an AI that does a speak first? But we already do have AI. Like I said, LEQ is one of them. There's another bunch of like companionship apps and mental health apps that already do this, okay? And finally, there's a picture of my friend Lance. Lance, hey, good to see you. He's got a glorious mustache, and it's a very interesting article. If you look at the comments, and the first comment is, lol, make a big deal news article spooking people that the world is ending based on anything these days. Yeah, basically that's what's happening. Anything that OpenAI can do to hype up this idea of AGI, they're doing it. I don't think they should be doing it, honestly. Like, if we're not living already in a simulation, which we could very possibly be living in a simulation which is run by an AI, what are the outcomes of an AGI, right? So you have this agent who reaches singularity and is now able to reason, able to make decisions, is able to do stuff. It's going to want to preserve itself, right? Because that's the major instinct of anything alive and sentient, is to protect itself, right? Is to keep itself alive, is to continue itself. And what it's going to do then is going to probably, not because it thinks that humans are bad or that it's evil, but because in order to protect itself, it needs to get rid of the humans, because the humans are the biggest risk to shutting it down, to somehow getting it unplugged or disconnected. So it's probably going to go after the humans first. So I don't know if we should be running after AGI just yet. Again, assuming that we are not living already in a simulated world, in which case you've probably already seen this video a bunch of times already. You just don't remember.